All right.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Scott?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to another month of digital experience workshops.
Commerce edition.
This is a new month.
This
is a new kind of workshop.
I like it. It is UX, pitfalls, and opportunities.
You got it.
All around commerce.
Specifically in our B2B e-commerce series.
Yes.
So we've done one of these already. We're going to continue to do them. We've got an awesome calendar organized. We're trying to get some other voices into the conversation. And we're going to, on the first Thursday of every month.
Correct.
We're going to do e-commerce.
Yep.
B2B e-commerce. This is not for folks who are trying to stand up a retail store. This is for folks who are focused on delivering a B2B channel enabled direct to a retailer.
Dealers.
So it's manufactured. Anyway, there's all kinds of similarities there, and we'll talk about all that, but there's also differences.
Yes.
And we're going to get into those uniquenesses. And we're going to do the same thing we do for our digital experience core workshop series. We're going to get tactical and specific about one thing every month. We're going to give you something you can take away to help you digest, remember, organize your thoughts. And we're going to help you elevate a specific tactical element of your B2B e-commerce digital experience.
I love it.
And if you come every month, and if you do our digital experience ones on the third Thursday of every month, you are going to have the most amazing digital experience. Do you know what we charge for these?
How much?
Nothing.
I know.
I'm
a steal.
I'm excited.
All right.
Shall we get into it?
We should.
All right. Let's switch over to our presentation. That is our handout. That was the wrong scene. That's okay. We'll come back to that in a second. We are here to, I already did the preamble. This is part of our series, and we're going to talk about UX specifically for e-commerce, specifically for B2B e-commerce.
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten to know Flywheel yet, we're a full service digital agency. We do design, we do development, we do content, we do integration, we do custom. It's all tied together by empowering our team to really make sure they understand the context in which they're doing the work and ask good, powerful questions. Be curious about what they're trying to do for you. Let us know if we can help.
And we're 20 years strong.
That's a good point. So we have a tool, as I've said, with every one of these. You can go get it right here at flyw.co/B2B-UX.
I'll put it in the chat.
All right. And that will take you to this handout. I'll move out of the way of the handout. It's a fillable PDF. We'll come back to that in a second, but we're going to go through essentially what's captured in this single page. It quickly reminds you what user experience is. It takes you through the common pitfalls. I should say some of the common pitfalls.
Some of the common pitfalls.
Reminds you kind of what to think about. It just helps you do your own little gap analysis here.
Yep.
Okay. This is not meant to be a big, rigorous, formal undertaking. We can do that, of course, but this is meant to say, like, what have I forgotten about?
Yep.
And then it layers in a reconciliation of that understanding with what's your user journey.
And it's funny because we're speaking about B2B, and this is done less than its counterpart in B2C by, tenfold.
Big time.
All the time.
I love
time I
inventing
see the
statistics
B2B
on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay, so go grab that, folks. flyw.co/B2B-UX. Keep that on your screen, and on we go. Let's put this in context, shall we?
Yep.
Do you want to cover this one?
No, go ahead.
User experience. We're going to differentiate this in a moment from UI. This is about capturing the entire feeling and effectiveness of the digital experience.
Yes.
We talk about the words that are described here. What's your favorite?
We went through this last time.
Yeah.
I know but when we're talking about B2B commerce, useful.
Useful. I'm going to go desirable. It's second place. Credible.
Yeah. And the only reason I say useful is B2B has a different culture.
Right.
And for me, I see this all the time. if you make something really flashy, if they get a little bit too, like, you can tell when somebody's come from the B2C space to the B2B.
Yeah, totally.
People need to come in.
Hold on. If you're a B2B experience like senior manager,
Yeah.
please don't disqualify people who don't have B2B experience, because they're going to bring some of that lateral thinking. Go get somebody from the consumer space.
Yeah, definitely. But again, people that, like dealers, you're typically not dealing with a consumer. You're dealing with somebody who has a job. That's the person you're dealing with from a customer perspective. They work for another business. Their job is to find the information and get back to whatever their task is. So when I say useful, that's why that's my number one.
Love it. Contrast that to UI. So we're talking now about the visual design, the layout, the aesthetics. This is how the pages. What?
I've just recently with talking to a potential customer, and I'm looking at this and going X on all of this.
What do you mean? Like they don't have these?
They don't have this.
Oh, I see. Right.
Spades.
But anyway, a lot of people do confuse UI with UX. It is important to have a good UI so that you can unlock the full potential of your UX. It plays a role, but if you have a good UI, it's very possible to completely miss the mark on UX. So one more time, coming back to UX, this is about the overall journey, the overall experience that you're having with the tool, with the information, with the functionality. The focus here is it's less on the actual substance of the message, and it's more on how it's all assembled. Again, 100%. Content strategy is part of having a good user experience, content itself, design itself, but not in isolation. A lot of times you get to good user experience, UX, through user research.
Yep.
It's all the fundamentals.
I love the fact that you have feedback loops.
Yeah.
This is done in the consumer space all the time.
Yeah.
Like if you look at platforms like Hotjar, they have it built in. Right. But nobody uses it on the B2B side as much. Like getting the feedback, is this helping?
Right. The one I like to emphasize on that list is emotional impact.
Yes.
How is making somebody feel in order to be able to use it? Are they frustrated? Are they delighted? Are they, excited to come back again? That's a signal of good UX.
Shout out to Pepsi for doing that.
You like Pepsi? Mm-hmm. All right. So that's kind of putting this conversation in context, setting the stage for what we mean by B2B UX pitfalls and opportunities.
Yeah.
I did a very quick casual check of our own B2B e-commerce client base. And so this is not scientific. Don't quote me on like Flywheel said this, but I saw some examples very quickly where there was a 5x difference between the engagement on a B2B e-commerce website versus a consumer website or another kind of website. So I think that just bears repeating so many times. B2B becomes an essential tool for your audience.
Yeah. Well, because it's, again, a consumer may come in and use it once, maybe twice. And, when it's B2B, this could be the mainstay for your customer.
Exactly. So you're going to see way higher time on site.
Correct.
You're going to see the same users coming back again and again. And I actually had to do this to find one of these, to validate this was, sure, the one client whose site I checked has pretty good SEO. And so they were attracting all kinds of inbound traffic that didn't actually mean it was a potential client for them. Like they have good product names, good product descriptions, good product collateral and whatnot. And so it ranks high in SEO, but their target audience is the B2B buyer. So if you don't filter for just returning users, you won't get the full story, right?
Correct.
So then you got to look at, okay, well, wait a minute. Of the users that come back and back and back, oh my God, the engagement spikes.
Yeah.
Right? You get the point. So this is a daily use tool. I've seen it, heard of it being saved as the default page when you open my browser. So I'm saying your customers save your B2B e-commerce site as the default when they open their browser.
Yeah.
Because that's the tool that they spend so much time in all day long. Why you wouldn't want to kick butt at UX is beyond me. So I think everybody always has that intention, right? But there's obviously things that get in the way. And we're not here to address those kinds of obstacles. We're just here to make sure that if you are committed to doing this, you think about all the right things.
Absolutely.
So what makes that work well? And this bears repeating too, and everybody's heard it before, that good B2B is no different than good B2C.
Correct.
If you're shopping for a new pair of shoes, you enjoy having the right kind of decision-making tools and media and images and descriptions and comparisons and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I like the idea. Well, again, you're saying initiate mobile sessions. Here's a perfect example. It is
of an overlooked B2B item. Yeah.
Of a huge overlook,
yeah.
because 9 times, and again, we've had customers with this where these sales reps for the organization, they use tablets, they use mobile phones to actually show their customers when they're out there, and the sales reps are coming back, I can't use this.
Yeah. You think, oh, this is for work. This is a tool.
Yeah.
You know,
and then the experience.
Most of my users are on the desktop. Maybe so, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a significant amount trying to pull it all up on a mobile device, or even in a critical moment on a mobile device, right?
We did a survey with one customer once where
you're leaning off of the screen.
I'm sorry. There we go. So I remember with one customer, we got asked to do a survey for them on behalf of the company. It was a big steel manufacturer, and that was the primary to 50,000 employees. 8,000 sales reps said, we can't use this.
Right. Because it wasn't mobile.
Because when we're out in rural and urban areas globally.
Right.
Like we're talking the APAC regions. They couldn't use it at all. It was incredible.
Okay, so we've made our point there. They enjoy good UI. They enjoy good UX.
Yes.
And they'll bring those consumer preferences to their desk. B2B is, however, also unique.
Yes.
So you can't just do B2C things and say, oh, okay, good. I remembered not to forget, those fundamentals. In the B2B world, you know very well who your audience is.
Yeah.
You often do have a one-on-one relationship with the actual people that are coming to your site. They prefer self-service a lot of the time, but doesn't mean you still don't know who they are. Talk to them on a regular basis. There is a particular segment here that does have a predilection for efficiency and data and whatnot. In B2B, you've got way higher volumes or value in orders most of the time, almost all the time. You've got nuances that are unique to individual accounts. You can have several people on the client side responsible for making a purchase or making a decision. And so, it's not just one person logging in, adding to the cart, debating whether to buy it now, wait till it's on sale, that kind of thing. You might have 2 or 3 people involved in that procurement exercise activity, and they value seeing each other's workspace inside your B2B digital e-commerce experience. They can share carts, they can share, lists, templates, things like that. And the demand generation side, this is not just here to serve your existing client base, but this is to actually attract and acquire new customers.
Yeah, and what's been overlooked in the B2B space is, especially in the larger realm, and I'm just referencing the steel manufacturer, was the fact that in their existing clientele, it was so large. Like a customer, maybe a 50,000 person, their organization. Yeah. So they're trying to attract within the organization. And the best way to do that is offer those CTAs.
Yes. Yeah. And so we're looking at something that is often a little bit more personalized,
correct,
specific, tailored, focused. So let's get into some of the pitfalls. We teased it at the beginning because we showed the handout, and these are all listed there. But what are some of those common pitfalls? Poor navigation,
all the time.
low findability.
Yep.
Not mobile friendly.
Correct.
Inaccessible.
Yep.
Brand gets, I don't know that it gets ignored, it gets overlooked, it gets forgotten about.
Or it's in a completely different area than any other portion of their brand experience. Right.
Yeah.
They'll put it off in a little icon in the corner. You don't know if you're still on the site or not.
Right. You might procure an e-commerce platform and just turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's fine. We don't have to worry about
default.
We don't need our design team involved in this.
Correct.
And this is going to become a fundamental part of sort of the opportunity that we're going to put forward here, is not optimizing for the buyer journey. I think actually that should say the user journey, and I'll explain more of that in a minute. The other pitfall,
and B2B functionality.
Not actually having B2B functionality.
Yeah, it's just a request for quote. Yeah, they can only do one. They can't have multiple team members working off of one.
Catalog.
It's a catalog,
and that's it. And
that's
so it doesn't. And listen. If you're starting out, if this is better than the alternative, please start there, and just be eyes wide open. There's room for optimization, room for improvement. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So let's put a frame of reference around this, and we're going to get into that buyer journey conversation, more of the entire user journey here. Mm-hmm. There is a difference between the buyer journey and the customer journey.
Correct.
And I am now describing it holistically as the entire user journey. This is not a new concept, but we move somebody along the spectrum of awareness and engagement with us, with our brand, with our offering, with our products. We go through this process first in terms of that buyer journey.
Correct.
They go from not even knowing who you are to having some awareness to you're nurturing that. They feel like they do want to start to engage with you, to making a decision to purchase from you, work with you, what have you. And then we get into they're now a customer, and we have to make sure that they're onboarded properly, that they're contracted appropriately, that they're working with us the way that's going to work for everybody. They adopt what it is that we offer, that we sell. It becomes part of their business, and they continue to be a loyal customer, to the point where we've actually elevated the experience that they tell their friends about it.
Yeah. Or professional colleagues or other people
Are
within
we friends,
the organization.
Steve? Are we friends?
Yeah. There we go.
Holy moly.
So just looking at this, the question becomes, this is a different journey than, it's similar to B2C, but I would say those first four take a lot longer to
in B2B. Yes. And you'll probably not emphasize the second row as much in B2C.
Correct.
Right.
But this is where the reverse happens.
Yeah.
In B2B, I always see this where they're saying, we already have our customer, we need to make this.
Yeah.
But then that first step, they lead to the sales team.
Right.
And then it's that ever revolving circle of saying the salespeople come back and go, I can't use this.
Right. Yeah. It can be very siloed. It can be, marketing and sales takes care of the top row, customer service, operations takes care of the second row. But if you're a digital leader, you've got to pay attention to this entire thing.
100%. And I will always say this: who is the executive champion for this?
Right.
They have to be known early.
They have to. And listen, you can do it by just focusing on certain aspects here, but we're saying that a good user experience in B2B e-commerce considers how your e-commerce platform solution offering can elevate and add effectiveness and impact and usefulness across this entire spectrum.
100%.
Don't boil the ocean. We're going to get to why this plays a role in helping you focus your attention. But we definitely want to make sure you're not just buying something, implementing it, turning it on to satisfy consideration and decision, or onboarding and adoption really just meaning kind of like recurring order processing, that kind of thing. Okay. So that's an important frame of reference for where we're going here. The opportunity in front of you now is to get more formal about how you're going to solve for this. So we want to see you getting intentional, if you haven't already, about personas. We do a separate general digital experience workshop about persona building. We have some of the recordings on YouTube if you need a little tip on that.
The one before this one.
Yep. We want you to put together your own journey map.
Yes.
How do you get somebody from aware or stranger all the way through to advocate, existing client?
What does that case study look like?
Right. We want you to think about how classical marketing and content can support the commerce experience as well. Not just top of funnel, but existing clients. How do you make more inroads? How do you upsell? How do you cross-sell? How do you add on accessories and services and whatnot? And how do you articulate that value and juxtapose that appropriately with your catalog of products, your offering?
Right.
Yeah,
we don't
mobile,
even have
folks.
to say it. Responsive design. Accessibility is probably another key metric because you don't know from your customer base. So I was working in another industry that was pharma, and they were not doing anything for accessibility.
Right.
And I was wondering, wait, you're pharma, you're medical.
Right.
And I remember they had 3 customers that were multi-billion-dollar customers that came to them and said, we cannot use your product because we have people that work that use JAWS.
Right.
And
Which is a screen reader.
And they said, because your site doesn't allow for the screen reader, we can't make these purchases. And it was a VP.
So I want to emphasize that accessibility is important. And in many places, it's a regulation and it's a requirement to adhere to it. But that is not why you should do this.
Exactly.
Accessibility makes your user experience more effective.
Yep.
For me, for him, for able-bodied users of all shapes and sizes. Not that we're entirely able-bodied.
Yeah.
It helps with your SEO.
World. Yes.
So it makes a good experience, period.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's actually a couple studies. You can Google it at some point where you can see somebody who's done the work making an accessible site versus non-accessible. Right. And the accessible aesthetically is actually more appealing.
Absolutely. Yep. Especially in a professional setting.
Correct.
You do have an opportunity to add brand alignment here.
Yes.
And to go back to that list of B2B, go to the list of B2B specifics and see if you're missing any gaps that can really elevate it.
Yes. 100%.
All to say, know your customer and understand what they're needing, how they work, what that experience is going to be all about. The B2B specific features that you might want to refer to. Don't just have a search. Be able to filter, be able to browse, be able to search. I talked about shared carts and wish lists or program lists, templates of spec sheets, or some of our B2B clients allow you to put together a collection of products, download a presentation that you can go use to sell to their clients.
Yeah. And you're going to have clients that all have different promotional promotion, anything promotion in B2B land is very, very difficult. There are very few platforms that get it right, because every dealer that you may have or every company you might be dealing with may have a different percentage that they get.
Sure.
Might be having something, and that takes a lot of time.
And that's on here. So account-based personalization, as opposed to you. And also user personalization.
Yeah.
So you as an individual, me as an individual might have certain responsibilities. You might shop for filters and I shop for fans.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the same HVAC equipment. And so we're together in the same account, but personally, individually, we have some slightly different behavior or preferences.
Correct.
Authenticated experience, being able to log in, being able to know who your customer is, serve them up something that's contextualized and appropriate for that particular role.
Yep.
Enable customer service through your B2B e-commerce experience. Allow for orders to be changed. allow for customizations and shipping. Anyway, the list is here.
Yeah.
And APIs and direct integration. So don't forget when you are building the experience that if you're smart about it and you build it in a flexible, composable way, you can also enable direct integration for your customers. And a lot of that is just kind of the table stakes these days too.
Yeah, because if you've used any of the monolithic platforms that take 10 years to actually get up and running, you would like to take advantage of those APIs.
Okay, so how do you prioritize these things? We want you to look at your analytics, look at your CRM, look at your customer data platform, get direct feedback from your customers, your colleagues internally, understand kind of objectives, goals, delight and experience, map that onto your customer journey so that you know that this is where I'm saying don't boil the ocean. You know, of everything we've just talked about and thrown at you, where do you want to start?
Yes.
Where's the biggest gap? And that is what the tool and the handout is meant to help you with. So we've got all those common pitfalls on the left, and we've just got to, if you download this, it's fillable. You can make some notes, you can print it off, you can, make your own notes about sort of where that gap is, so that you can help yourself elevate the user experience of your overall.
And like you said, start small with this.
That's right.
It's a single person.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, my friends. Grab the handout, come back again, follow us on LinkedIn. That's where you can find out about all of these workshops.
And again, if you want to join us on June 3rd,
good point.
We have our in-person event. It is the Digital Momentum Summit. It starts 9 a.m.
It's a full day work. It's a full day summit.
Awesome.
We've got Scott Brinker coming from HubSpot to talk to us about MarTech landscape. We've got Bill Rogers coming to talk to us about AI. We've got some of our customers coming to talk about some of their successes. We're going to be talking about brand building and storytelling. It's something in there for all digital experience leaders to elevate the impact of what they're doing. And you're going to be in a room of like-minded individuals that's just going to get you in some headspace to, I promise, keep you motivated, keep you going strong, and help you lead the way.
Yep. So just reach out to us individually. You'll see us on LinkedIn, and we'll look at tickets.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Cheers.